Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chaotic Sports Podcast. My name is Chris Sarda. This is my co-host, Angelo Soboro, and Zachary Sarda is back on the mic.
I love that he's holding a football and just threw it. I mean, he dropped it, but we'll say he threw it. It's fitting because it's a sports podcast.
He did throw it earlier. Didn't you see him throw it onto the couch?
I mean, I like that he has sports balls around.
Yeah. So while we're doing a sports podcast, Zachary will actually be throwing a football.
It was good timing.
That was a throw.
On his part.
Did you see that? Yeah. That was a throw. He threw just a little bit farther than you do.
He hasn't touched the football all the whole time I've been here until we started.
He was playing with the football the other day.
No, but today I'm saying until you started a sports podcast, he's like, hey, we're talking sports. Let me pick up a football and let's talk about it.
Yeah, he's going to pick up that little basketball there soon. Oh, he's picked up his Father's Day card that he wrote me as a 1-year-old. Probably going to tear that up, so we got to save that. Anyway, this is Chaotic Sports. You could find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter, at Chaotic Sports on YouTube too, and
chaoticsports.com. You could Google Chaos and we'll probably come up.
Yeah, Google Chaos, Gods of Chaos. That's us, and we're on YouTube and all kinds of social media stuff. Oh, we're on Facebook too, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you say that every week. You literally say that every week, that you didn't know we were on Instagram or you didn't know we were on Facebook every single week.
No, but I mean, you're doing it. I mean, I didn't know it. Originally, I didn't know it. I mean, I just blocked it out after. But
yeah,
I mean, you're not really on it. I mean, you should be on it.
I should be on it more.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, if you're really committed.
I post the shows.
You're just doing too much stuff. You know, there's too many pages. But
what am I doing? Well, as far as you remember, what am I doing? Like, make a list.
I mean, just basically what you need to do is you need to, if you're posting or something on this, you just basically have to do the same thing like 7 times.
Sorta. I mean, there are programs where you could do that, but Facebook, you don't post on Facebook like you do on Twitter. On Twitter, we're like doing like game updates and just commenting. Twitter is more of a feed.
Yeah.
Where Facebook, if you would never want to post like 40 times for one game or something like that, you know. Anyway, so we a couple things on the podcast front before we get into sports news. Remember last week when I said I was going to do a live show every Monday or Tuesday? And last week I did do a live show.
Well, you basically said, "Hey, I'm truly committed to this. I'm going to give it 101%. Live shows. Let's do this. Commitment." And then
was there a live show this week?
No.
So
you were supposed to do one on Tuesday.
Tuesday or Monday.
Okay.
One or the other I should have done.
About kind of previewing our podcast and just talking about some
just
stuff.
Talk about sports, things that happened kind of thing. And
you got sidetracked.
You know what? I probably could have made time. I'll tell you what's really wrong is I hated the sound.
The sound wasn't that bad.
The sound was freaking horrendous. It was terrible. Now, I have microphones and stuff, but I'm having issues with the drivers, and I never got around to it. So there will be a live show. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes.
You got a good 45. Backdrop. Just do it. Just 20, 30 minutes.
I mean, you're right, too. No one's listening. I might as well practice with the bad sound just to put it up.
Yeah,
to get used to me talking alone, you know. It's hard when you talk alone. There's a lot of likes and when you talk alone.
Yeah, but if you have your top 5 subjects or top 5,
maybe top 2
cards,
three subjects. Oh yeah, you saw me with the flashcards.
Yeah, so if you just have that and it's not, you know, have Zachary hold up the flashcards.
Three topics took me 40 minutes, and that's just me talking, not even you saying dumb crazy stuff.
Yeah, so you're just babbling, but I didn't even hear it. Just do it. I mean, there's one person watching. It's
too new. It's too new.
So just commit and just do it.
Yeah.
Or uncommit at this point.
Or uncommit.
Yeah.
Should we just cancel the podcast right now?
I mean,
this will be the last one. It'll be a 4-minute and 30-second podcast.
You want to jump off the boat or not? You know what I mean? It's like you got to just pick a side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the reasons I was doing that, right, is what we were talking about before we started recording here, is that it's been, since we've done the podcast, the Toronto Raptors have won the NBA championship, and that feels like a millennia ago, doesn't it?
And it was.
Can you believe last week you were here at this time, around this time, and we were talking about whether the Raptors were going to win? Your prediction was that that Golden State was going to win by a lot.
Yeah,
that they're going to win by that they were going to blow them out this game and then lose game 7.
Probably would have. But there was injuries, and we all.
That was your prediction, and then the next day, the podcast comes out Thursday night or Thursday morning, and then the Raptors win. But so much stuff has happened in the NBA since then.
Well,
so one of the problems before we'll get into the NBA in a second, but one of the reasons I wanted to do a
daily
Monday one,
a week is too long to wait.
Yeah, just to get some stuff out there into the sports world,
Well, we need to be your best option is just being on the radio every day. So you're talking about live, current stuff right now.
I used to do Chaos Daily. I would do that on the way to work. They would be like 15, 20-minute episodes. I would just talk in traffic.
Chaos Drive?
Chaos Daily, it was called at the time. And it just hit 3 topics.
I would have called it the Drive for Chaos Drive or something like.
That's the worst. The Drive for Chaos Drive might be the worst.
No, because you're driving.
Did you honestly want me to call out the Drive for Chaos Drive?
No, you're driving. You're driving and doing a Chaos podcast.
The Drive for Chaos
Maybe
Drive.
Maybe not that, but I mean, Chaos Daily is good, but I'm saying you're driving. So it'd be something like the Chaos Drive.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know that everyone knew I was driving when I was doing
Chaos Ride Along or something.
But I don't know that everyone knew I was driving. The other problem is you would like that to come out at 7 a.m. or earlier for the East Coast so that they can listen to it while they're driving to work.
I mean, the way you drive and you have like a problem with road rage and you drive like 90 miles an hour in a
No,
20.
I don't. I don't do
either
like, one of those
how
things.
did people not know you were driving? I mean, it'd be like, just let me listen to one of them episodes and I'll guarantee you I would know. I would have heard honking, screeching of tires.
Don't listen to this guy. I am a safe driver. I don't have road rage. I get mad like anyone else. Someone cuts me off. And I was using a hands-free, like as if I was talking to someone on the phone. I was about to say that's
extremely illegal too. You're right.
I was not just freaking texting and stuff. I wasn't texting or anything like that. I was hands-free, talking on the phone.
Yeah, okay.
I was probably using my Samsung with a speaker and microphone and stuff. And it was easy because I knew the 3 topics. I knew it was only going to be 15 minutes. I just rolled out with it. But YouTube, if I'm going to go live, I want it to be a little bit longer than 15 minutes.
Well, you don't want to be live driving on YouTube, do you?
No.
That's a whole other thing. Like, I mean,
I'll be like looking at the camera. Whoa!
You'd be like, I like your bookcase backdrop better, but I mean, like, I guess a car could do too. Like, people are just watching you.
I mean, I've done comic hauls in my car where I just set the phone up and I would just show the on the other channel.
I think we take a little commercial break.
Are you beating my son?
No, he just hit his head or something.
He's fine. He's already chewing something.
I wish you just go to.
Yeah, I've done comic hauls like that, and not while I was driving, like in the car outside the comic store. Let me make that clear to you.
Post calls.
But yeah, I mean,
like
we've got to do the live stuff, man, if we want to get it done, because now we're about to talk about the NBA Finals, and what we have to say is way smarter than what Stephen A. Smith or anyone else has to say. Yet we're doing it 7 days later.
We're 7 days behind.
There's actually some cool things to talk about. Well, first let's get to the finals. So we both thought Golden State was going to win that game, but there were some injuries.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it was. It's just everything changed. Injuries changed everything.
Yeah, but it didn't look like they were going to blow them out like you said. I thought Golden State would win, but you were expecting a blowout.
I think on their verge of a blowout. Clay had 30 points. They were about to be like up 6 or 8, whatever. I mean, momentum was moving, and it was about to go into the fourth. I think they easily might have won by 10, 15 points. I mean, I said 20 before the game, but I think it might have been 10 to 15 if Clay didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
We'll see, but...
And the injury was bad, man. I'll tell you what, though. That was one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen. When he got hurt, they told him he'd be out of the game is before he knew he hurt his ACL. And he just turned around and went to take those free throws. And when he came out, everyone was so excited at the Oracle Center.
They thought he was going to play the rest of the game at first. I think when he came back out, they were like, "Oh man, he's coming back. He's okay."
Well, no one knew about the ACL at that moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy.
That they were just going to check it.
Yeah. So they were like, "Oh, he's good now. He's not that hurt."
Yeah.
So and then they didn't realize it was just for the free throws. But how awesome was that? That was like.
So he comes out. It's inspiring play. He goes and shoots his free throws because he got him fouled. So it's not like you just go to the back and come back in. If you can't take the free throws, you basically are out. Jeff Van Gundy yelled that as they were going to commercial. The TV should have known, though, that someone was going to tell Clay, because that's a crazy thing to see. You know, and then they go to commercial and we miss it. We have to see a video of it.
I've been watching back,
which was disappointing. But that was inspiring. I'll tell you the last time I was that inspired, when Tyson Fury got up from the Deontay Wilder.
And that's why I think that
punch.
fight was so good. It was like back and forth, but...
Well, it was mostly Tyson Fury for that moment.
But to get up from that...
Opened his eyes.
When he thought he was like going to be knocked out.
They say like The Undertaker.
Yeah, it was like
he
oh my
says
God.
That The Undertaker's fake. That was real. That's what Tyson Fury said about that. And it was the same thing when Clay came out, because at the moment you thought he came back, that he could play.
At the very moment, yeah.
Yeah, and then he tried to stay in, and Coach Kerr told him, "Well, you need to go get checked out," and then he left in, of course.
And at that moment, you still think maybe he could come back.
You bet we found out it was the ACL.
Yeah, you didn't know how bad.
And then
you saw him in the back running back and forth. If you don't know if you saw that video. He was like, so when they showed him jogging, I thought he was moments from coming back to the court.
Yeah.
They showed him,
But then he ended up leaving in crutches, so he must have hurt himself while he was jogging, too. He must have not been able to do it.
Yeah, from the jogging, though, then it went to a reporter saying, hey, bad news, he had blah, blah, blah. Then, that was it.
It's such a crazy turn from the Warriors, too, because it's not like, the injury bug hit us during the finals, but we'll be back next year. Hopefully we're lucky. I mean, their two players are going to be out for the majority of the year. A torn Achilles and an ACL injury, you're going to be lucky to see them.
They both shouldn't even play at all.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in playoffs. I mean, because it's like...
Yeah, they might be able to come back in the playoffs, but you're right. Maybe they should just skip it.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, is that I'm hearing that it doesn't affect, at least for Kevin Durant, what people want to pay him. They're almost willing to suck up a year of no Kevin Durant. It's almost the best situation, because imagine the Knicks pay him, and he gets paid for this year that he's out. The Knicks aren't going to be good without Kevin Durant, no matter who they get. So they're going to get another draft pick,
another number one pick.
Yeah. So to be Kevin Durant along, I mean, imagine if they would have ended up with Zion, had a bad year without Kevin Durant, because they would have probably been a fourth seed, worst case scenario in the East with Kevin Durant on that team. But then they get Zion. Imagine if they would have gotten Zion and then Kevin Durant comes through too, They still get a good pick, though. With
Clay, because Clay's such a... I don't think it messes up his money either. Because he's the catch and shoot guy. Clay's built for... Clay doesn't need to... I know he needs to move for defense, but I'm saying, like, his game is shooting, so, he's just going to be
Well, it messes up his money for next year. I do think that what it does is ensure... I think we all were pretty sure it was going to happen anyway. But I think it ensures that he stays with Golden State. I think Golden State wanted him anyway. But now Golden State is the Steph Curry, Draymond Green show. And it makes you think that maybe they keep Boogie now.
And can they get another good player? Because they're going to have Durant.
They're going to have Durant's money on there anymore. So then maybe they can make a move for one of these big players that are out there. Or maybe they just wait and they're okay with sucking it up and not being the best team for 1 year. If that leaves them, it's real hard to see what they're going to do, and you got to see what KD does. You got to see what happens with.
So maybe next year they're okay with not being that good, and so they get the number one draft pick, and then they have.
We're not going to get number
one.
And then
I know, but listen, what if they are, and then they get Durant. Klay Thompson back, you have Curry, Draymond still, and the number one pick. I know they're not going to get the number one pick. I'm just saying.
Okay, well then, what if
they would be?
What if Michael Jordan comes out of a time machine?
Well, with Curry and Draymond, you realize they're not going to be like dominating.
Yeah, it's going to be a different team. They're going to not be able. They're not going to be able to. It's going to look. They're going to look a lot more like the Blazers.
So they're just going to be middle of the road, 5 seed or something.
I bet better than that. Here's the thing, because Cousins, his plan was to come play the end of the year with Golden State, show everyone what he could do, that he was back from the knee injury, that he was back to go, but then he got injured again, and then really he had a good defensive game that last game.
Well, and he didn't move that. He wasn't moving that well.
Yeah, it's still too early.
Last time when I saw him play a few years ago, he could move pretty good for a center, and he was like Duncan scoring 20, 30. You saw him in the playoffs.
Not loose enough.
He's like almost looks like he's going to fall.
He looked
over.
like Gordon Hayward, except a big guy.
I mean,
Like
basically,
the way Gordon Hayward was slow, the way Paul George was slow for a year.
Or like Sean Bradley or Manu Bol or something.
Well, he actually had a good game that last game. He
would fall over like every 3 minutes.
Last game, he had a good game.
He did have a good game, but he just looked stiff and weird.
I agree.
If you ever saw Sean Bradley play or Manu Bol, they would fall like every 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean that's
not
just
quite. But what I was trying to say though is that makes me think that okay. So now, since he didn't blow people out of the water, he ends up staying with Golden State. He actually does start playing close to the level he was at before because he warms up.
Top 3 again.
And then, but I mean,
big 3, like
yeah, it would be a big 3. They would just not be a small team. They used to lean small, but now they would lean more Draymond and Cousins size, right? And that's a possibility if Cousins could get back up to fitness because he's not any. I mean, we're joking around, but the truth is that. He's not anywhere near fitness.
No.
And Kerr actually did play like 4 or 5 minutes with him as the best player on the court on that last game. And it was more defensive, and he didn't score, but they were giving him the ball. You could tell that they had set that up.
But if he has the next like 3-4 months to get in better shape and get then maybe he's
in shape, probably, and it'll probably take a month of playing time into when they start in October or whenever, I forget when the NBA starts again. But he'll probably be slow for a month too while he's playing games. But I don't believe Cousins is done until I get more than a year of bad play.
Oh, he's definitely not done.
Yeah, until I get more than a year. Just like I don't think Gordon Hayward's done. And Paul George has already proved he wasn't done. He had a slow year, came right back to it, and he was basically an outside MVP
Hayward
candidate.
will have a way better year next year.
For sure.
Because
he
he's
should.
just coming off an injury.
Yeah. And Paul George had a mediocre year also, and then this year he was an outside MVP choice. So Golden State's going to be a great team to watch, one of the many great teams to watch in the offseason. Something else big happened. I don't know if you heard. The Lakers traded for Anthony Davis. Now, everyone's, at least if you're a Laker fan, you're excited that they didn't have to get rid of Kuzma. But if you'd been following the news, the deal was never for Kuzma. You were never going to have Kuzma in that deal.
They wanted to keep him for sure.
Yeah, they wanted to keep him for sure. And now the Lakers are now in contention, automatic playoff team, and strangely running big. In a game where guards matter the most, your 3 best players are all forwards and centers.
Your 3 of your like 6 players on the roster are like big guys.
Well, the 3 best players are big guys. There's no good guard right now, is what I'm trying to say. So you got Kuzma, you got AD, and you got LeBron James, who's normally he's the biggest of the best players. Well,
so
I guess not with
3
Bosh.
are their 5 starters?
Yeah, I don't know really who else is starting because they traded.
Well, they hardly have anybody else on their roster.
Yeah, they traded. Ball.
Hart,
Yeah.
they traded.
Yeah, they traded those guys. So they're going to need to make a move. Some people are thinking Chris Paul, but the money doesn't really work there. And that's going to sort of lead into our next talk. So let's not talk about Chris Paul yet. I think Kemba Walker's the best choice as a free agent.
Kemba would be beautiful. Lillard, you don't think Lillard's going to leave Trailblazers?
No, I think Lillard's possible.
I mean,
I think Lillard's possible too, but I think it's a year. I think he's a year out. I don't think it's this year.
so he's a year out to go to another team.
Yeah,
next
and
year.
LeBron
Clippers,
wants to
Lakers.
make a move. You know what I mean? So to me, the Lakers are going to get either Kyrie or Kemba, and all reports are saying Kyrie's basically already said yes.
Yeah, LeBron doesn't
To
have
net- to
2-3
the Nets.
years.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why
LeBron's not waiting for
That's why we
Lillard.
knew Anthony Davis was probably going to the Lakers.
Exactly.
I mean, people have been talking about it for like 5 months straight.
Yeah.
And then it
In
finally
fact, it was going to
happens.
happen in the middle of the year, but
Yeah.
they couldn't make the trade.
So they need one more big guy, and then maybe they have a chance to win
Not
the
a,
title.
well, when we
Not
say
big
when
guy.
we say big guy, we mean big player, not
guard.
size, point guard. They 100%
Shooting guard or something. They need something.
100% need a high level guard.
Yeah, not necessarily a point guard, but they'll
Yeah.
take one. Because even if they got a great shooting guard, you could just have an idiot being point guard, and you might be good.
Yeah, I mean, because LeBron James likes to facilitate anyway,
Yeah.
right? So LeBron James is almost a point guard forward. He's a point forward. You know what I mean? LeBron James likes to distribute, likes to facilitate, likes the ball to go through him.
Yeah.
And then, he'll either pass or shoot, where Harden will just shoot, right? So they need some kind of wing player to be good. I can't even tell you who's there right now, and it's probably going to be Kemba. But Kemba's also talking about how much he wants to stay with Charlotte. The problem is Charlotte's not going to go anywhere.
Now, you know how, like, Kemba Walker, he's his brand is, and actually I want to talk about something else about Anthony Davis in a minute.
Yeah.
But Kemba Walker, you know how he's like a Jordan brand?
Yeah.
So they're like, he wants to stay in Charlotte because of Michael Jordan, because of the Jordan brand.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan would still do good business if he played in LA because it'd make the brand bigger and more known for Kemba.
Yeah.
So either way, I think Michael Jordan's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not part of his contract that he has to stay in an area. So I actually never heard him say he wants to stay there for the brand. Or
no, I mean, I just think that's part of it for his love for the city, Jordan, everything.
Yeah,
like
I like that he loves the city, but
he wants to win probably too, right?
Yeah, man. I to be honest, I'm talking about the Lakers and excited, but I don't want to live in the world where the Lakers are good again.
No, but would you want to be on the Hornets? Like, would you want to be Kemba Walker and
I would probably
lose like
choose
70 games a year for the last 5 years or something?
I would probably choose the Lakers too.
I think so too.
If they could pay him, if the money works out the right way.
If I'm gonna go move to a new city, nice city, get a nice house, make a few $100 million, and go try to win a couple titles, I think I'd probably pick that.
And there are a couple other guys that I think are good that they might be able to sign because they're not going to be max guys, but be good off the bench. Rondo, keeping Rondo if he's cheap, good guy off the bench. Also. What do you think about retrying Isaiah Thomas there as a bench player?
Isaiah Thomas needs to go somewhere. He's got talent.
Yeah.
But he got hurt and whatever, right?
And a bad experience with the Lakers, for sure.
That'd be good. Jimmy Butler might go there.
I mean, there's just not any room for Jimmy Butler. You're going to take Kemba...
No, it wouldn't be them four. I'm talking if Kemba wasn't there. It'd be...
Oh, but Jimmy Walker or
Butler.
Butler is. I mean, what's he going to play? The two? I mean, he's a three. He's a forward for sure, isn't he? I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because you're
right. They'd be playing really big.
Positions don't matter anymore.
Positions don't matter, but when you're two,
nobody knows what Curry is. Nobody knows what anybody is.
I know what Curry is. Curry's definitely a point guard, but he's a scoring point guard. But he would be a wing player. He definitely wouldn't be playing where Kuzma and LeBron are. Actually, LeBron might be more of the two. He might act more like the two.
So when you get those big three on their team, it's just going to be they need just a good nucleus of other players. They're not going to have any other great players.
Well, I'm pretty sure exactly, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a situation like Golden State, where for a long time Golden State didn't really have a good bench, right? So one of the players that it could be, money is an issue, is Chris Paul, and the reason for that is that. Chris Paul and James Harden, it turns out, have not gotten along the whole day, the entire time they were together.
And they're in like commercials together, right? You would think they're like buddies. I mean, they played on Dream Team or Team USA, but I mean, I've seen them in like State Farm commercials.
Yeah, apparently that's the closest they'll ever be. But the news coming out now is that they're irreconcilable. Morley and the owner, Fertitta, feel like they didn't. Like they made a mistake signing such an old guard to such a big contract. He's a little bit injury prone, and they really need a little bit more. Huh?
What were they beefing like?
Can you guess what they're beefing over? It's two guards that
James Harden like dribbling between his legs 1,000 times and like holding the ball too much.
Well, both of them. So they're both ball dependent. For them to be good, they both need to handle the ball a lot. So Chris Paul, it might be to distribute. James Harden might be to find a shot. But the ball needs to go through them both a lot. I thought it would work because Paul can just bring it up and either give it to Harden or facilitate the other players.
Well, weren't they like a number 1 seed or last year? What didn't it work? It didn't work in the grand scheme. And they didn't win a title. But weren't they a number 1 seed?
Yeah, or
2,
something like that. I mean, they were one of the best teams.
So didn't it work at this point? It's not over yet. The soup is not done. I mean, they're just like they.
Well, apparently they just don't want to work together anymore. I think it did work. You know, people are acting like the Rockets are failures. They were. I mean, I think the Rockets would have beat the Blazers in a 7-game series this year. So to me, the Rockets were the second or third best team in the league.
Okay,
but you're right. I agree with you. I'm just going on the motif that most people feel like the Rockets need to change something, and that supposedly this relationship is irreconcilable. The problem is that the Rockets are going to have to eat a ton of money because no one's going to take Chris Paul on this money.
Except the Lakers or the Clippers.
The Clippers probably won't do it because they already moved on from Chris Paul. The Lakers don't have the money.
How do they not have the money? They have like 3 people on the roster. I think they definitely have the money.
Oh, I mean, but over Kemba?
No, you'd rather have Kemba.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, and then Chris Paul looks like he wouldn't
Chris
cost
Paul's
more.
buddies with LeBron. Maybe
He wouldn't cost more.
You know?
So it's hard to say. The Rockets are in dire straits, and it really sucks because for the Rockets and Rockets fans, because you're going into a year where if you played like you did the last couple years, and Golden State is hurt, you have this incredible chance at a championship. I mean, you'd have to beat Milwaukee. Toronto maybe won't be the same if what's his name leaves.
You can get a few titles right now. Any of these teams.
You could jump in, yeah. Next year, it could be the 76ers. It could be Milwaukee. It could be the Lakers. It could be the Rockets, depending what they do. Hell, it still could be Golden State. They could waltz in with a 6th seed and have their players all come back. You know what I mean?
Like for the Western Conference Finals, and then all of a sudden they just win it.
Yeah, or
they can limp to the playoffs.
Yeah.
All they need to do is limp to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's so easy to get to the playoffs. You just have to not be terrible. 16 teams out of 32 make it,
and then Durant and Klay Thompson both
just show up again. Yeah,
and they just don't tell nobody, and then all of a sudden they're like,
and you whatever you do, you sign Durant for Durant's going to make someone's going to take Durant and give him a max contract and not just
you just can't come back too early.
Well, or you do need to come back too early so you can get so you don't look like Cousins out there. You need to get in game shape. You don't get in game shape, just like soccer. You don't get in game shape in any way unless you're playing the games. You know, so
I mean that's part of the problem. You know.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing. What's the common denominator with the whole thing with Harden? I used to think it was Russell Westbrook, but it might be Harden. Well, Harden was having problems in Oklahoma, right?
No. In Oklahoma, they left for a money issue. So they broke up because at that moment, OKC, there weren't any problems.
You don't think there was any problems?
No, there weren't any problems. And then just normal, what I call Aaron Rodgers problems, where when Aaron Rodgers is sitting behind Brett Favre, it's not that you don't like these people, it's that you want to play. You know what I mean? He was coming off the bench. He's the 6th man of the year at least once or twice. So I don't think there were problems there. If you could say that there were problems, it was with Dwight Howard, too. But Dwight Howard's having problems everywhere.
Howard, what are you talking about? In Houston?
Yeah, when he went to Houston, yeah. And then Chris Paul's that attitude. Chris Paul's a very competitive, crazy attitude kind of guy. You know, so I can see anyone having problems with him, unless they were all young. But I mean, they just both play a very ball dependent sort of game. So you know what? You know who freaking James Harden needs? He needs Goran Dragic. That's the kind of point guard he needs.
That wants to assist?
Yeah, that wants to assist or doesn't need the ball all the time, will let just Harden dribble. When he does get the ball, he can make something happen. A guy that doesn't absolutely need to be the superstar on the team. Chris Paul needs to be the superstar, one of them, right? And then the other thing they need is unfortunately, Clint Capella isn't great, but they're not going to get rid of him. They need like a Trevor Ariza type player that's going to play defense and pull down rebounds.
So they need him back.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza might be too old now, but they need him back or someone like him. Maybe call Big Baby. No, just kidding.
They just need. The Rockets don't have another dominant player, so that's why they're never going to win it unless they get.
Yeah, and if they lose Chris Paul, they're going to have one. So here's the thing: James Harden is among the best scorers in NBA history, pure scoring. Okay, he's among the best. So you're going to get points on the board. What you need to do is you need to build around him. You need to make sure that the 30 points he's going to give up on the other side, there's someone to cover that.
It's better defense, and you need
a lot of defense, and you need a guy. Kawhi would be great with him. You need all defense. Well, they're talking too about a player that's from Houston. Oh, Jimmy Butler's in talks to come there.
Okay, so he goes there.
But how's Jimmy Butler going to? We already know his attitude.
So you need Jimmy Butler and the Greek Freak to go to Houston.
That's not happening. You just can't just name names. Greek Freak.
No, but these guys are going to team up. He's in Milwaukee until next year, and then he goes wherever he wants.
Yeah, but that's years from now.
It's 1 year from now.
Yeah, but so much is happening in the next 3 weeks, dude.
It's 1 year from now.
Yeah, but so much is happening in the next 3 weeks.
I know, but
1 year from now is like...
We're talking about these teams teaming up. It's going to happen, though. We just don't know where it's going to happen.
Yeah, but you have to find out what's going to happen in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then you would know. Then you could start talking about the Greek Freak and Lillard and stuff, So... Anyway, a lot of basketball happening. We didn't talk about Women's World Cup, but a lot will already be in the 2nd round by then. And then, of course, Then of course, don't set him there. No.
Is he dirty?
Yeah. Is he dirty? Oh. Then of course, baseball. I mean, we're going to talk baseball all summer once all this other crap ends. But let's cut off there. We got to do a quick show. This has been Chaotic Sports, at Chaotic Sports on Twitter, at Chris Sarda on Twitter, and check us out on YouTube. He ate it hard. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.